o'clock, and welcome this pre-holiday show. We are glad you are here.
Turn your mics up.
How's it going there, Pat? You're going crazy with the weather, aren't you?
The weather has been so bad, and I told you right before 9 o'clock when you were doing your lead up to the show, I was looking out the window and I was getting ready to run. The trees were bent over so bad. The rain was coming down, and I started yelling across to Roxanne, look out the window. I think we're having a tornado. And it calmed down, but it's still ugly. And the Skyway, you know, is shut down.
I saw that. Did it actually get shut down yesterday, too?
No. Today, this morning was the first, and right around 8:30 is when they really closed it. Well, maybe closer to 8 o'clock.
So you may remember one of our guests from last year, Pat. We have Mr. Corey Deerdorf back. And
oh, we've seen him in the news lately.
So I never watched TV, so what did I miss?
Well, he's been busy talking about all the bad storms we've been having in Pasco County.
It has been a busy couple of days up here in Pasco, from snake bites to straight-line winds damaging about 80 homes yesterday. It's been some gas leaks. It's been really busy right before the holidays up here.
You guys don't get to sleep like you usually do, right?
Yeah, never do. 24/7, we're here all the time for you.
I'm totally joking because my husband works for the city, and that's like the running joke that all they do is sleep. They really don't work. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Turn your mic up.
Is the weather supposed to be like taking a vacation time this time of the year, or taking some time off?
Turn both of those mics up.
Yeah, supposed to, but
not
yeah,
worries.
We're headed out a little bit today. We're going to be going up to visit some family and friends. Hopefully, some quiet time off. But,
you can take the weather with you, right?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
You know what I like about Corey though? When you see him on camera, his shirt is so perfect. It's so nice and white, and it's pressed perfect. And I wonder, he's talking about all this bad stuff that's going on.
You should see his shoes, too. They're super shiny.
I do have the shiny shoes on. I do.
Oh, my God.
Look at those things, huh? You're going to blind you.
So, Corey, do you like radio or TV better?
Oh, here we go. We're going to start the battle right here this morning, huh?
Yeah.
He likes TV better. It pays better.
Well, we do both. So we got TV. Yeah. We got TV and radio going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Live Facebook stream, the whole bit.
Yeah.
So if you remember last year, Pat, we talked a lot about holiday safety tips. And if you were listening before the break, we were talking all about some of those house fires that actually start every single year. And we always say every show that the fantastic conversations happen a lot off air, which is so true. But we tried to save that for the air actually today. So
but Corey, let me ask Corey this. You're talking about the Christmas trees that people don't put enough water in the bowl underneath and it gets dried out. But with the new LED lights, and that's what I have, those lights aren't even getting hot anymore.
Yeah, we absolutely recommend everyone to switch over to those LEDs. They definitely don't heat up as much, and they're a lot safer. You can actually put more on the tree. But also we got to kind of watch as those LED lights age, the wires get a little brittle, and sometimes they can cause sparks in the tree just from the wiring itself. They're very, very small wires. They're really not meant to be thrown around like we do every year. So every couple of years, replace those lights. And
I was going to say, what's that timeline after they've been in the attic in the hot sun, right? Is going to create more wear.
Yeah, I mean, how hot's it in your attic? A couple hundred degrees during the summer, and those little wires
are
sitting there.
How hot is it in the attic?
Not a couple of hundred degrees. It's like 110 to 130 or 140. So I'm supposed to keep water on my plastic tree.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Only you, Leo. Only you.
We actually had we have this great wives group in Pasco County, and they put together breakfast with Santa. And so I walk in, and here's this fake tree, and they lost the stand to it, and it's sitting in a jug of water. And I'm like, well, at least the fake tree's watered enough.
So how often, if you're like me and you do have that real tree, how often are you supposed to be watering that thing?
You should always have water in the bottom. If needles are falling off, it's not watered. So especially if you have pets, cats, dogs, they tend to get under there sniffing around. They're like, oh, look, a new water source. They lick some water out. Are you kidding,
really? Like, if you have dogs, you have to put a baby gate around the tree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because other's they're watering it.
That's indoor plumbing.
There you go.
Something like that. Yeah, for sure. We also have Lisa Negron. She is with the Pasco County Public Education Department, and you work a lot with these guys side by side, right?
I do.
And kids.
I do, yep.
So what's your role in this? Tell me a little bit about this. What do you do for Pasco?
Well, public education is something I do every day. So whether it be very small children up to senior citizens, we teach them everything we can on fire safety and injury prevention.
So what's the number one thing that when you go in to teach people stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't didn't know that, or I probably should be aware of that one.
Cooking fires. Oh. Without fail, every time.
So I have to tell you a story. I'll tell you a cooking fire story. Okay. So and I had the mom brain, right? So I was nursing my youngest one. And the way my house is set up, there's sliders like all around the back part of the house. Kitchen's like the hub of the house. And I was making French fries, and I had grease in a pan. And I don't know, just pregnancy brain, went in the other room, like on the other side of the wall, and was nursing my little daughter. And then all of a sudden I could see flames on the sliding glass door reflection. And I was like, oh my gosh. My son was like, put water. I'm like, no.
That's what we see all the time, is because people have forgotten, because they wander off to go take a shower, they sit down on the couch, they fall asleep, and they've left whatever on the stove.
So you might laugh at me, but I literally it was a cast iron skillet, and mind you, flames are coming like way off the top of it. I took it, and somebody opened the door, and I threw it in the pool.
I mean, not the
best.
worst.
It wasn't in the house. I mean, the only thing that happened was the microwave was super melted, but you know, outside of that was easy enough to replace.
So next time we'd tell you to cover it with like a sheet pan or a lid, take the oxygen out of that fire.
There you go. That's the thing that people I think forget, is the oxygen is what fuels the fire.
Right.
So I like that. Just throw the whole thing in the pool.
I did. It's way better to do that than to try to reconstruct the house because it burned down or, you know. But it was so big, like you couldn't even throw baking soda on it. You couldn't even really get to it because it was just such a...
Absolutely, and that's what's scary, because then somebody will go in there with a glass of water, throw it on there, and it spreads. Now it's all over your countertop, and your countertop's on fire, and your cabinets are on fire, and you're running out the house with everything you can.
Speaking of countertops, I mean, obviously, like the Formica, that type of material is going to be way more flammable. But what about when you get into some of the solid surfaces, like granite, sandstone, quartz? Are any of those a little bit more flame resistant, or is it catching other stuff?
It's always cabinets. I mean, the cabinets.
Pressboard cabinets.
Or wood, whatever it is, it's going to burn. For sure. All right. So what's with regards to the holiday lights, because we were talking about this, what's the big things that people need to know, especially some of these huge light displays that you see? I mean, there's one that's right down the street from us. They have like the holiday music, everything going on. It must be, I don't know how many thousands of lights. It's just tons. So what's the one thing somebody needs to know, maybe if they've never set that up for fire safety?
So the first thing you're going to want to do is on the end of all of these cords, there's the UL recommendations. And what that's going to tell you is how many strands of lights can be strung together.
You want people to read the tag.
You got to read the tag.
Okay.
You know?
The ones we cut off.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They're just sticky and, check them out.
Rip the box and throw it away. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fine.
No big deal. 17 strands later, you
like
can't
Christmas vacation.
Now, you know you guys do not read any tags.
I do, though, because what will end up happening, especially, hopefully your outlets on the outside, because it's in a watered area, are GFCI outlets. And so you'll come home and they'll be continuously popping. And that's just too much voltage going through there.
So that's how you know. That's a tip right there?
Well, you don't want to get to that point.
But if it happens, then you know you got some stuff wrong.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so we always tell people, make sure, I think it's 4 or 5 strands to one outlet, together. And then take those little covers that you can put in for the kids in the outlets, slide those in the end so there's no moisture getting up into the back side of those strips of lights as well.
So how do people strand all these lights together? If you're saying 4 or 5 is kind of the max, and does that change if it's LED versus the regular ones?
Yeah, it does, and it depends on what size the bulbs are. So that's why we tell you always read the cords, and if you even have to, Google what it is, and they'll tell you how many you can strain together safely.
It's not just a string of lights either. It's the extension cords that they're using. So an extension cord to a power strip is a terrible idea.
Okay.
They're overloading those. So you want to use one extension cord to one sole power source and then maybe to your lights. But
so how do they end up connecting them all together, or should they just look like they're connected together but they're actually not because they're plugged into different places?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's the case, yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's what I'm trying to be clear, because I think, when people are putting their holiday decorations up, we don't think about it too much. Mm-mm. Did you put holiday lights up at your house?
My wife goes crazy on the inside, and I live in a 100-year-old house, so...
It's not a good idea, right?
We have, 4 garlands and 1 tree plugged into 1 outlet that's dedicated to it, and we don't have any problems. But it's a fake tree.
There you go, but keep it watered.
We do. That's where the dog comes in with the baby gates.
So what about, do you think these older bungalow-style homes are more at risk?
The older the wiring in the home, the more at risk you are for any large power loads. So
especially with the wood home.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, this is Tampa Home Talk. We've had an exciting first part of the show already. We're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about some more information, a lot more information that you're not thinking about. The power cord one was a really good one to the outlet. So this is Tampa Home Talk. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk. And if you're looking to catch myself, Leo, Adam, or any of us that are off air number, it's 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. You can call or text. And if you need some real estate help, I wish I had met you a couple months back, Lisa. She's in the middle of this fun process herself. 813-377-2775. So couple other tips we had with regards to, and I don't think we elaborated very much on talking about the house fires and when you have loose bulbs, worn, like what's the best way to spot if it's a loose bulb, if it's worn or broken? Like what are some things you can look at?
It's really important that you're actually inspecting them before you're plugging them in and using them on a house. So if you've run your hands down it, you've checked to make sure that there's no loose wires, you're not missing the rubber off the outside of it, any bulbs coming out, you'll notice it.
Okay. But a safe rule of thumb is every couple years.
Absolutely. I would say every year, pulling them out, just run your hands over them, check them before you're plugging them into anything.
But as far as replacing them, because I think some people just keep lights for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of those older lights we definitely don't want to be using anymore. Remember those ones that bubbled?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to be using those anymore.
I think my mom still uses that on the
grandma's lights.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about those? What do they look like?
You know, the little vase in the bottom that's got the little tube that does the bubbles up in the middle. It almost looks like a...
They were so cool, but terrible
super
idea.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire risky.
Those are bad, the ones that you plug in the outlet with the bubbles?
Remember those old school ones that have been around forever? They were grandmas. They're probably, 70, 80 years old. We probably want to get rid of those at that point.
I have one of those in my kitchen plugged into my outlet right now.
Is it plugged into an extension cord with 8 other appliances plugged into it?
No, it's straight into the. But I do have a Village right now that's got 400 cords plugged in.
There you go. There you go. That sounds safe.
Yeah, his wife set up a whole holiday village.
You gotta have the
like
Village.
those ceramic, little townhouse.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty cool with the train running through it and the whole 9 yards.
Aren't ceramic just a heat conductor?
Could be.
Yeah.
That's totally an engineer at work there. So the other thing that you guys had on your list, Corey, was to keep the tree, the decorations, all that stuff at least 3 feet from an open heat source.
Absolutely.
Is that just your kitchen or is that anything else?
Anything in general, and especially now we know it's chilly outside. We have the rains coming through, the winds are coming through. Everybody's going to want to kick those space heaters on. We want to make sure that you stay safe with those because this time of year, especially when we see these temperature dips, we see a lot of space heater fires, and we've already had a couple this year. So we're going to want to make sure that it stays at least 3 to 5 feet away from everything, away from children, dogs, pets. You're going to want to use the newer ones that are, UL listed and have the newest safety things on them. So if it falls over, it shuts off. If it gets too hot, it shuts off.
Oh, okay.
And you're never going to want to use an extension cord with them. That's a number one thing. And you're never going to plug them into power strips as well because...
What's the reason behind that? Like, how does the mechanics behind that work? I'm sure you guys know, right?
Yeah, so a space heater uses a lot of electricity. In fact, it's resistance that heats up the coils, right?
Engineering, I'm all over this. I can explain voltage drop. I can jump in. Go for it. I don't want to steal thunder.
No, please.
So what ends up happening is as you extend the circuit, you have something called voltage drop and voltage flicker, which comes about. Voltage drop is when you think you have 220 coming out of the outlet, and then it becomes like 205. And that happens over a longer span. Then you have voltage flicker, where you have too many devices all plugged in at the same time, and they're all competing for that same electricity. And then the devices start to microly turn on and off. And back to you.
Which was what you were saying.
Absolutely. Then wires heat up in the walls. That catches the walls on fire. And then we have a fire in your home.
Also, I thought it was interesting on your list, you said shatterproof ornaments.
Absolutely.
Why is that on the list?
So go back to pets, go back to kids. You walk by, can't tell me. I have 2 kids myself. I can't tell you how many times I've walked by and 3-4 ornaments are laying on the floor. The dogs walk by and knock the ornaments off. When that happens, they're going to bounce off the floor. You're going to pick them up. You're going to stick them back on the tree. The old school glass ones, they hit the ground, and now people's feet are getting cut. And whenever you break a piece of glass, it takes like 3 weeks to get all of the glass off the floor.
So I'm thinking fire, but you guys respond to all of those calls.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
So also, I this is on the list, but it really surprises me. Do you really see people with lit candles near the Christmas tree?
Near the Christmas tree, or they'll fall asleep with them underneath curtains next to the walls, and then once again, the next thing you know, oh, I see a surprised face over here.
It just surprises me. It was a little, like, I don't know. I wouldn't think people would do that, but I guess anything.
In our industry, nothing surprises you.
Common sense isn't as common as you'd think it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess you're right.
Absolutely.
The other thing, too, that I don't... So I'm looking at these going, okay, which ones might we be guilty of and which ones might we not?
There we go.
But turning off the lights before you go to bed or leaving the house, that's kind of one that I think a lot of people... I mean, we have a real tree and we do leave it on.
Absolutely. And once again, those heat sources, if something's going to happen, we want you to be home so that you can get us on the way as quickly as possible, so that maybe you at home can take some steps with a fire extinguisher to put that fire out to keep it small, because when that fire starts growing, it grows exponentially quicker. Within 5 to 7 minutes, you're in danger of losing your home.
So I got to tell you, Leo and I don't inspect them. We just go through them, but we see a lot of these homes, and how often do you actually notice a fire extinguisher in any of these homes?
We always recommend them, and
But,
when we did
but
notice them,
realistically, like how often?
Usually in apartments, and then when we do see them, if they're the kitty ones from 2010 to 2012, they're under recall. So we have to actually check the tag to make sure you've got a fire extinguisher. Great, it's under recall. Great, it's not going to work. So you know about the kitty recall.
Right.
Absolutely. And we want you to have a couple of them in the house. Have one in the kitchen. Have one upstairs in the laundry room.
But I think most of them don't. Most people don't because they're like bulky. I think we have one in the garage.
I have 3, but I live in a 100-year-old wood house.
Well, yeah, you should have
yeah,
3.
just might go buy 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, just like one in every room.
You might
It's
want
like-
to invest in a sprinkler system.
Do
There you
those
go.
do they expire after a while? I know you said the ones were
We have to- well,
recalled, but
ours
don't
are
they
commercial,
expire?
so they have to be recharged once a year or so, or checked to be recharged.
Home, they do expire too, and it won't tell you on the extinguisher that it expires. So I always suggest people when they go out and buy them that you write the date that you bought them. They're good for about 10 years.
Okay.
Now the kicker with that is if you just take it and throw it underneath your counter for 5-6 years and you don't touch it, you don't move it, it's probably not going to work. That dry chemical might settle in the bottom, so you got to kind of pick it up.
Okay, so
move
let
it
me
around.
ask you guys, where's the fire extinguisher in your house?
Mine's in my kitchen.
Like is it visible?
No, I keep mine under the counter.
Okay, Corey?
Mine the same way. It's under the sink, and then I have one upstairs in my laundry room in case there was a dryer fire or something of that nature, because whenever you're supposed to be cleaning those dryer vents out
Yes.
every 6 months, but a lot of people don't, and that lint is very, very flammable, and it can go fast. So I keep one up there as well, and then I keep one in my bedroom in case there was something that happened and I could go.
Of course he does. He's a fireman.
Yep.
What's more flammable, the lint or the Christmas tree?
Oh, I think you're depends on how dry the Christmas tree is.
Depends if it had any water since you bought it.
Absolutely. And we've done demonstrations where we have burned the trees, and it would surprise you within 30 seconds to a minute your entire living room is completely covered in smoke, and within
It's crazy
2-3
that it
minutes.
happens that fast.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, but you guys can't even get there that fast.
That's why we say call as soon as something happens so we can get there as quickly as we can.
Like
'cause-
you're almost like you're there just in time to put it out so it doesn't spread to the neighbor's property, but you're probably not going to end up saving that house.
And that's so it takes us about 5 to 7 minutes to get to your home. By the time the 911 call is processed, we're dispatched, we get on the road and get to the house. And in 5 to 7 minutes, a fire can grow exponentially. So that's why we always say it's better for you the second you see the fire, have somebody call 911, have somebody start to get people out of the home, even a cooking fire like what you experienced. If you put it out, we can always be canceled. We can always say, no big deal, we'll go back to the station, we'll go on about our day. But if you wait, and you wait too long, you're running the risk of causing more damage to your home or possibly losing the home.
Yeah.
And so that's always give us a call. We'd much rather be canceled en route than not be called and show up a lot later.
That makes sense. So, Adam, what about you? You're the insurance guy. Do you have fire extinguishers in your house?
We have a fire extinguisher under the sink, and where we live, we have like the sprinkler system. So if
Okay.
like
That's
smoke
right,
gets
because you're in a
That's even
condo.
better.
He's in a condo. So.
Yeah, so it's now we have 200 other residents that we have to worry about not watering their trees or
Yes.
anything else like that. So that's the risk there. But hopefully
So,
that happens.
the other thing, the indoor-outdoor use for the lights, right, is a big one.
Right.
And so if you cut the tag off, you probably don't know if that's indoor or outdoor.
Yep, you're not going to have a clue. So it's really important to leave those on for one thing. and make sure that you're checking when you buy them what they're supposed to be used for.
And Corey made a great point. He said, don't buy the dollar store ones.
You don't.
Right.
We see that with extension cords all the time, too. If they're not UL listed, I wouldn't trust it at all.
Now, have you guys responded to any of these house fires yet from holiday lights?
So I don't think we've responded for any from holiday lights, but we have seen a couple space heater fires already this year, and unfortunately, the two of those that we saw, the homes were a total loss.
Oh, so sad. And right before the holidays, like that's definitely not what you want to experience.
That's why they won't insure you if that's your main heat source.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's on the 4-point, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, there's a reason why insurance companies actually require those. And we are going to talk a little bit more about those space heaters when we come back right after the break with Mr. Adam Talley. This is Katrina Madewell, this is Tampa Home Talk, and our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. You can call or text that number. And happy holidays. We'll be back to you in just a minute for a little more fire, safety, and holiday fun. Back in a minute. This is Tampa Home Talk. We're glad you're here. Thanks for listening. And happy holidays. I can't believe it's like just a few days now before Christmas. Are you guys ready? Everybody ready?
Absolutely not.
Nope. Not even
I'm
close.
a guy. I won't be ready till Christmas Eve.
The dudes are never ready. Are you ready?
Sure. I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Yeah.
I'm ready. I got my PlayStation all set up. The family's coming over. They're going to be in the other bedroom. I'm going to be locked in my little chamber playing video games I downloaded. I am set.
What video games do you play?
It varies. Right now I'm playing I would say the new Tomb Raider, but I beat the new one, and now I realized there was one before it, so I went back and downloaded that one.
Leo, you're the one that plays the game all the way to the end until you can totally master it, and you're like, okay, I'm done.
Pretty much.
Don't you? I knew it.
I'll never touch it again after that.
I knew it.
Well, I mean, in the old days, you used to have video games you can pick up with a bunch of friends. You just play. Maybe the game's like 1 hour, 2 hours long. That's the old style. The new style is 5 hours of intro or 5 hours of tutorial, and then you got 10 hours of gameplay. It's like, I don't want to play another 5 hours of intro.
Do you play Fortnite?
I don't play Fortnite.
That's the one my son plays all the time. All right.
I haven't played a video game. You'll be so disappointed in me.
Well, it's because you have kids now. That's why. He's a dink. He has no kids.
With what you do for a living, I will never be disappointed in you.
My man. My man. Flattery will get you everywhere.
Awesome. You'll come to Hillsborough when my 100-year-old house catches up.
That might be the nicest thing I've ever heard Leo say.
Oh, look at this. We're making friends.
It was interesting, Adam. We were talking about the space heaters right before the break being like one of the biggest fires you guys see at the holidays, even above the holiday lights and the tree fires. And that's why you were saying if that's their only source of heat, there's no insurance for you.
Absolutely.
Not even on the private market, huh?
Nope. Pretty much every single carrier that we have asked that question on the application. Or do you use any space heaters, portable heating device, anything else like that? And that red flag comes up pretty quick there.
Absolutely.
I couldn't even think of a place that they'd allow an exception on that one. So it's
it's pretty risky. Like I would say, I don't know what the percentage would be of people that have these space heaters as their only source of heat. And it comes back to it, here in Florida. Like catch on fire, it's got to be high.
Kind of on the other side of that, not necessarily for the fire risk, but one of the other things is, having an actual central AC system. So if you don't have central AC, let's say you have like a wall unit or something like that, it becomes very difficult to insure as well. And
we had a house built in the 50s that had one of those really big, like whole house wall unit things, and we put in central heat and air, but...
Well, on the, from the insurance side, you got to look at they're also insuring you against mold and fungi and that kind of stuff. So if you don't have central AC around here, it's December and the humidity is 80%. So imagine over the summer if you don't have that circulating through your house. Mold grows quick. So
72 hours.
And you just said you were allergic to it.
Oh, yeah, I'm highly allergic to it. I can tell. I start coughing.
See, they don't need a mold test if you're their realtor. You just walk in, start sneezing. We got to get out of here.
Hopefully, eventually, I'm not allergic to it. That's the point of the allergy shots. But I can smell it right away as soon as I go in the house. Yeah. I've always been able to. And then I did the allergy test, and I'm like, okay, I know why.
Well, speaking of the 80% humidity, so I was watching that Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney show, White Christmas, last night.
Oh, I love that show.
And at the end... It's been snowing for an hour, and they open the barn doors, and the whole thing's covered in snow. And it's like got a blanket of snow. Yeah, does that happen that fast? Is that how fast snow covers?
I have no idea. I've always lived here. I'm the wrong person to ask that.
I'm originally
can.
from Montana, so I can answer that
Yes.
question. Yes.
Over to Lisa.
So
Yes.
just 1 hour is all it takes.
Absolutely, in Montana.
It's like
I've never been
it's
saw
like
snow
rain.
until I was an adult.
Imagine raindrops, but they're
Snow.
snow. It's the same thing. If it's snowing, it's storming.
It was an awesome movie, by the way. Highly recommend it. Rebounded Rosemary Clooney's career. Bing Crosby and her got together.
Don't forget about Vera Ellen.
Vera Ellen.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, there was a rumor that Vera Ellen was actually anorexic, and in all scenes, she's always got her neck covered.
You watch way too
And
much TV. I've never
You've never
watched
heard
nothing.
of White Christmas?
I watch football. That's all I watch.
White Christmas?
It's my
I've
wife's
heard of it, but-
favorite Christmas
Is
movie.
it?
We
It's
watch it at
awesome.
least
All right,
10
is it on
times
Netflix? I'm
between.
gonna watch
It
it.
is on Netflix
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, that's where we watched it last night.
So White Christmas.
White Christmas, starring Bing Crosby. Like, White
Okay.
Christmas, the song, is one of the most famous Christmas songs.
Yes, I've heard the song.
Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye, awesome.
I've
Vera
been looking
Ellen.
for a good holiday movie, so I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, it's your typical double hookup, double wedding at the end, romantic
Yeah.
musical.
Well, thanks for just giving the spoiler alert.
come
I
on,
want to
it's
watch it
just-
now.
It's telegraphed pretty early on, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Every movie in that time frame that's a musical has that same plot. I mean, I didn't spoil anything, unless you'd never seen a musical before.
No, I have.
Okay.
That's where they sing.
Yes, I know.
Can you name a musical with two
Phantom of the Opera was the first one I ever saw.
well, can you name a comedy musical?
No.
That two couples that are the main characters don't hook up at the end of the movie? With the musical?
That they don't?
Don't.
Probably not.
That's kind of like
It's,
the wireframe of that.
I know. There's no spoiler there.
Yeah, no.
You've seen
Not-
White Christmas, right?
Absolutely.
No.
Okay, thank you,
no.
Lisa. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, goodness. Oh,
my
goodness. We're going to have to stop the program.
Some of us are a little bit busy. We don't have time. Pat, have you seen it? You're going to say yes. He's seen everything. Oh, he left.
It's
He's
been
gone.
around for 40
He
years.
went to the break room, I bet you, to get
40
He's
years.
eating
Coffee or something.
Yeah, he's eating a
Or
donut.
eating,
or
yes.
drinking coffee.
Now, actually, Santa Claus is going down the hall right now, and we just wanted to tell him our last Christmas items that we wanted.
Oh, there you go.
Extra
There you
zeros on the paycheck. is
Right?
always-
Move that
always
decimal
nice.
point.
Yeah, money always fits.
So, Pat, have you seen the movie White Christmas?
Many times.
See?
I know, but he watches Netflix in the studio. I mean,
Oh,
you know.
Oh, telling
He's like,
secrets.
can you watch this?
I hear Katrina going, I watch football all the time.
I do. That's the only thing I watch.
We don't turn sports on in our home.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, I play in 2 fantasy football leagues. One of them I'm winning.
Oh, my
the other one
gosh.
I'm dead last. There's no in between.
Unfortunately, the Hallmark Channel is a standard in my home.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't I don't think I've ever watched
real
that. channel.
quality programming you're watching there.
You know, not to go back to the holiday safety stuff because that was what we were supposed to be talking about. But you know what we didn't talk about at all? The smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide
Absolutely.
detectors. Like how about testing those? How often those should be changed out? Like, and
Absolutely.
insurance doesn't even ask that question. Do you?
They ask, are there smoke detectors, within close proximity
"Yeah, I
to
can
all
see it."
sleeping areas in the kitchen and that kind of stuff? But
So they ask, but
they ask. What they really you can get a discount if you have, say, so obviously you get a discount if you have a monitored burglar alarm. So
Right.
like ADT, something like that. Most of those companies also will do a monitored fire. So if you have that, you get a little extra discount
so
as well.
if it smells fire, no matter what, it sends you guys right away. Okay.
Yeah, if it's monitored. And you should be checking those every 6 months. You should be replacing the batteries in them, the 9 volts.
Don't wait till they chirp, right?
Don't wait till they chirp, absolutely, because you're going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to figure, especially if
Trying
they're
to find
connected.
a 9 volt.
Yeah, trying to find a 9 volt and trying to find which one. So you're going to replace one and you're going to go back to sleep. It's going to chirp
Yeah,
again.
at
Then
2
you're
in
to
the
next
morning,
one
they're going to take it out and never think about it again.
Don't you store all your extra batteries in the fridge? I mean, that's where
In the fridge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to have cold batteries.
Yeah.
Extends the life of it.
batteries. Huh?
Yeah.
No, you don't store them in the fridge, keep them cold. You store them in the fridge because you know where your fridge is and you can remember you have batteries in there.
There you go.
Oh, I have.
You've heard that before.
Yeah.
right?
You've got to be kidding me.
No.
I have heard it. I don't personally participate.
No,
in
I
it,
don't
but-
either. I have a bin
I
with
don't
all
subscribe
kinds
to
of
that.
I was
batteries
going to say,
in it.
yeah, they're in a drawer. They're not in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I have a junk. I have like an ottoman that you
A
can
junk
take the
drawer.
lid off.
A junk
and
ottoman?
I have
Yes.
cords
Solid.
and batteries, and I got everything.
I don't know what show I'm on. You guys don't store your batteries in the fridge and never seen White Christmas.
I'm coming
Hey,
to your house.
I've seen White Christmas probably 10 times since Thanksgiving alone this year. So we're
Well, like
we're
I said,
set.
you're never invited to my house because you will pick everything apart. But I'm coming to your house.
Do you at least watch the Muppet Christmas Carol?
Oh, boy.
I've
Here we go.
seen it once, I think, when I was a kid.
I'm done.
Maybe. I don't
done.
know.
See,
You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I
You have
work
kids.
all the time.
You
I
have
know.
kids.
But we've seen Shrek and like that kind of stuff. But
Muppet Christmas Carol.
It's a classic.
But my
It
kids
is.
are now teenagers, and they're not interested in hanging out with
It's
us.
from the 90s. I mean, they should have
Gonzo's the
seen
narrator.
it.
See, I force my children to watch Christmas Vacation every year, at least 2 or 3 times.
Is that the one where the house catches fire?
No, you don't know Christmas Vacation. Okay, now we really have an issue here.
Yeah, that's
guys.
the one with the squirrel
Okay,
jumping.
I'm making a list. Christmas Vacation.
With Cousin Eddie. I mean, how can you
Are your
not?
kids the appropriate age for that?
Probably not,
No.
but they watch it every year. So,
It's true.
Thank you.
4 and 10. I mean, it's not that bad.
The 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Squirrel's not gonna-
Well, you didn't really know what's going on anyway. So.
You can't start forming brain waves and memories until you're about 6. So,
So there you go.
It's fine.
We're starting a tradition. That's what it is. But yeah, I force my 10-year-old and her friends to watch it every year, and every time they are not interested whatsoever in it. But I'm like, someday you're gonna realize how amazing
Someday
this
you'll
movie is.
really appreciate Cousin Eddie.
Okay, so here's the
Cousin
thing.
Eddie.
Like, you're forcing the kids to watch it, but they don't want to watch it. Maybe that's why we didn't watch it.
Well, you're right, but you got to
The
start
Muppets?
tradition. No kid wants to do any Christmas tradition, really. They just want to play on their iPhones these days.
Yeah, you're right.
So I take the phones away. We all sit down and have dinner and
awesome.
watch the
we
movie.
go see Christmas lights, so we do. Drive
We do
around
that
all the
too.
time.
Where's the best Christmas lights?
Oh my gosh, there's one right down the street from my house that is like amazing. It's on Shining Star. It's got like the radio with I don't even know how many
Now,
lights.
does the whole neighborhood do it? Where's the best neighborhood for Christmas lights, do you
There's
think?
a ton. There's a ton. That's a good question. Pat probably knows the answer to that. Do you?
Patrick, are you
Best
on?
neighborhood for
He's
Christmas
talking
lights.
to Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best neighborhood that I like to. How did you know? I think New York City.
No,
That's-
locally.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't do that anymore. As a matter of fact, I had to put Christmas lights up on my house, and I wanted to get it over with, so everything is just mixed, matched, and my neighbors are probably wondering or hoping that the new year gets here quickly so it'll all come down. I mean, it does not look pretty, but there's Christmas lights out there.
We have a ton in and around our neighborhood. There's a bunch. I mean, Corey? You guys are in the field.
Yeah.
Where's the best holiday lights you've saw?
We have a ton. I live over in Oakstead, and we have a good amount of people. Our entire block is every single
up.
one of them. Yeah. In fact, my neighbor, I can barely sleep at night because of the amount
so
of lights that
bright.
he has going through my window from just Christmas floodlights down the side of the house and inflatable Santas blown in the wind. I mean, it's quite the sight next door.
You wake up and
that's the
Santa's in your
holiday
yard.
spirit, though.
Absolutely,
you
it
know,
is. Absolutely.
December 27th, you're like, all right, we gotta get this thing down.
When is the appropriate time to take the lights down?
Before New Year's.
That's
You
the
think?
12 days of Christmas, though.
Or before Christmas, so it'd be the 14th.
Well,
to the-
I like to do it like literally. If it's up to me, I'm dismantling stuff the next day.
I'm with
Some
you on
plug
that.
out.
Really, I am.
Yes.
My parents
Wait-
do it
wait a
the
minute.
easiest
I want to get
way.
it
They
packed up
just-
and gone. Like
They
we've
just
been.
plug in the crazy arm waving inflatable tube Christmas Santa, and they unplug it, put them up, and that's
Especially
it. So.
if we leave for vacation, which we're not this year, but most of the time we do. I like to take all that stuff down. I don't want to be dealing with it when I come back in the new year. You take yours down the next day too?
I do.
See?
Wait, I was at
I've had
Katrina's house in September, and there were Christmas lights out in
you're
front
so
of your
full
house.
of it.
There
You're so
were. What
full
were
of
those
it.
lights in front of your house? There were
aren't-
some
Those
lights.
aren't Christmas lights. Those are football lights.
Those are
That's all she
coach
watches
lights.
anyways.
They're
Okay,
coach
it looked
lights.
like Christmas lights.
I've left mine up till July one year.
There you go.
What is wrong with you guys? And you're picking on me because I've seen a Christmas movie.
There's nothing wrong with leaving them up year round.
All right.
As long as you change out the.
As long as you change them out every couple of years.
Well, this is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text us, 813-377-2775. And we'll be back right after this break with some more insurance tips from Adam Talley and some of our listings. And I'm going to tell you something really cool about one of these listings. I'm going to let Adam tell you when we come back.
Oh,
right
it's
after
gonna
the
be
break.
awesome.
This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. We're hanging out in the studio today with Mr. Adam Talley, Leo Cannyn, Corey Deerdorf, and Lisa Negron. Welcome back. And we've had a great time today's show. And hey, Pat, I was thinking about this after the break. I'm going to open up the studio lines just for a minute. If you live in a neighborhood that has a ton of lights and you think it's just amazing, and if you live in the Tampa Bay area and you should see that, please call in, let Pat know where it is, and we're going to tell you about it before we get off the air. 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010. If you have the most amazing holiday lights in your neighborhood, please let us know about it. 888-404-1010. 1010.
Isn't there that one street near Swan on Bayshore that they always decorate because they've got all those overhang trees and that entire street decorates?
Is it Willow, maybe?
Yeah, right around that. It's every year they
It's
talk
like Willow
about
or North Avenue or something like that.
It's right off of Bayshore. I've actually seen car accidents happen because people are looking at the lights and they smash into each other.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
You got to respond to that stuff.
I know.
No.
Not that one, though. That's on Bayshore. Those are the other
It's
guys.
a little further south. But
Go.
So this is my exciting. This is Leo Cannyn's real estate listings tips of the week.
Wait, you didn't even get your name right.
No, I say Leo Cannyn. That's how I pronounce it.
No,
What?
you didn't get his name right.
No
Oh,
way.
Anyway, Leo Cannyn's real estate tips of the week.
That's
This is
not
where Leo promotes Katrina's listings because Leo can't promote his own listings because he's not a real estate agent, doesn't have any listings. Anyway,
But they do the inspections on them.
5952 Moore Loop, Tampa, Florida. This is in Town and Country. How is this one still on the market? $125,000. It's I don't understand how this one's still on the
Our
market.
showing activity has actually picked up this week on this one. I think one of the things that's scaring a few people away is the roof was replaced about 4 years ago, and the owner refuses to do anything. It's 100% as is, but there's still water stains on the ceiling. So it looks like the roof's going to collapse, but it's new. I know it's only 125. Adam, you have something exciting about that listing, right?
Yeah, we were able to, we quoted the flood on that one, so it's actually in a flood zone in
Do you
Town and
remember
Country.
what the policy was that the homeowner was paying?
So the homeowner is paying like over $3,000 a year in flood insurance, and we were able to quote it for $1,000 a year.
All right, so how did you do that? Because the misconception, I think, is that national flood insurance is regulated. Everybody gets the same rate, but that's actually not true anymore.
Yeah, so we quoted it two ways. So we did go through the National Flood Insurance Program that actually did have the better of the two rates, but
It was so better?
it's so negligible you wouldn't be able to tell.
So what does that mean, and why is he paying $3,000?
I don't know why he's paying $3,000. It could be force placed, even.
Oh, really?
I have no idea.
Yeah, force
because-
placing would do that.
Or
Yeah,
it
don't
depends
ever
on how
get
long
force
he's
place
had
insurance.
the policy. But because it was built in 1961, it's actually what's considered pre-firm, which means it was built before the flood maps and everything came out. So we didn't need an elevation certificate. He does get a subsidized rate. However, as you alluded to off air, the National Flood Insurance Program isn't at its most stable point in history right now.
It is what it is. And when people ask me about this, I always tell the truth. They're like, should I buy in a flood zone? And if you want to know the truth of it, I think it's a little bit of a risk right now. And the reason why is there is a Band-Aid on this whole national flood insurance thing. We're going to talk about it again on Tampa Home Talk going into 2019 because the Band-Aid comes off next year, right?
But I think buying this flood zone property, you're getting one heck of a deal.
You are getting
here's
a deal.
here's the thing, and this
That's
is my
and it's a good area
This
too.
is my thought on it. Okay, it's okay to buy in a flood zone. My only tip would be you should be able to cash flow that property. Meaning, if you have to write a check to pay it off, you need to be able to do that. Because I think you should be able to have the risk. Be able to absorb the risk to self-insure that, at least for flood, not for homeowners.
The one good thing that we're seeing, and then I don't want to get too far off on a tangent here, but the one good thing that we're seeing with the flood marketplace is there's a lot more private options
goodness.
available. So we have two direct people that we work with on for private market flood quotes, and then what we're seeing is we probably have 5 carriers now that have their own flood endorsement built into the homeowner's policy.
Really?
And
And
most
how
of
does that shake out way better?
sometimes it does. I had one that was up in Newport Richey, so in you guys' territory.
There you go.
Lisa, you're in the middle of
And
buying a house. You have
It
Adam quote
was
it.
it was in a flood zone, and we were able to add flood as an endorsement for like $150.
Wow.
And there's not a
That's amazing.
$150 flood policy
No
out
way.
there
None on the
anywhere.
planet,
So
no.
and when it's an endorsement, you usually get better options like replacement cost on contents, which isn't
Right.
a factor on the National Flood Insurance Program.
It's and if you want to get more information about this insurance or any of these listings, you can get us at 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. You can call or text that number. That one on Moore Loop for $125 is a deal.
I know. And then if you want bigger houses to decorate this time of the year, we've
There
got
was another
Christmas
one
lights.
that he quoted that was way better too, right? Didn't you quote the one on Prairie Valley?
Yeah, is that the one in Riverview?
Yeah, in Riverview.
Yeah.
12325 Prairie Valley Lane in Riverview. 2013 build. This one is 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It's got like a cupola turret types fronting for the house, which is a lot of windows, the octagonal design, perfect for lights.
It's immaculate, perfect condition.
Perfect
it's the
for
Walcott
Christmas
model,
lights.
which they don't make anymore.
And very affordable insurance. Fully loaded policy was
I
like
care about lights. I mean, let's
$700 a year.
Look
for
at this.
homeowners.
Would you be able to like decorate that with
Oh,
lights
that'd
and
be beautiful.
reindeers?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just
I
some
mean-
icicle lights around the
Yeah,
outside.
that's perfect.
It might just take a long time because you have to inspect every single light individually, right?
Yeah. So what about inspecting lights on a roof? That makes them look dangerous. When
We
you
got to do it before they go on the roof.
No, you got. But when you plug them in and the one light's missing and you got to find the bulb, you have to do it on the roof, right?
Really?
No, I'd pull it back down, do it on the ground, and then put it back up.
We
kind
had
of
Yeah,
some
because
callers. Had
so
some
they don't
callers.
want you falling off the ladder because then Corey still has to go respond
we
to
still
it.
got to come, and it happens a lot more than often. And now with security cameras, I can say several firefighter friends of mine have posted security footage of them falling off the top of ladders.
See, that's a Twitter moment. You
It
should
is.
totally tweet that and Facebook that because you can learn from that.
Absolutely, and embarrass them a little bit in the process, which is always fun.
I know, but if you can save that for somebody else, wouldn't it be worth the embarrassment? Maybe.
Absolutely.
Depends on who's falling, right? If it's you, the answer is no.
Absolutely.
So you should just put a mattress down outside,
Sure, why not?
underneath the ladder, so when you fall, you're safe landing.
Or you get like 5 or 6 of your friends to hold a trampoline under you.
So,
Just follow
Pat,
you
what
around.
do our listeners have to say? Because we had some call-ins, right, with regards to
Well, you
holiday
know-
lights?
Yeah, we had a couple in the town and country area. They said, now, one was Pat Acres, and I think it was their home.
yeah.
So they said to the west of Waters on Pat Acres, but they said, don't forget about the Chick-fil-A
Yeah,
on
I was going to
Waters.
say
They
drive to
said-
Chick-fil-A, yeah.
And
Actually,
then
we
Carol-
tried to book them for a holiday show, and we didn't get it in time, but they'll be our guests in the future.
Okay, well, and then they said Carrollwood Village
That one.
area, apparently on Carrollwood Village Run, and then real big things on West Chase, west of
Yes.
Sheldon, along Linebaugh.
Thank
And
you.
then they said there were beautiful homes on Boy Scout and Boy Scout Road.
Yeah, thank you very much to our callers, not only for listening, but for calling in and giving our listeners, the rest of the listeners, the tips on where to see some of the amazing lights. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. This is Tampa Home Talk. I've had a great time hanging out with Adam, Tally, Leo. It's not Kane.
Kane.
Are you serious?
He's been saying
I've
it
had
all
your
year.
name wrong the whole time. I thought you were saying that because of the holidays. All right. Corey Dieldruff and Lisa Negron, thank you for joining us. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. Remember, love where you live, or I'm going to fix it with our 90-day Love Where You Live guarantee. Welcome home, and we're out.